Hey everyone, Danielle from Against All Grain, and we are making grain-free blender bread today. Gluten-free and paleo breads might be a little bit different than your conventional bread, a little bit more dense, a little bit more moist, but they are also much easier to make. We're throwing all of this into a blender. There's no kneading or waiting for the dough to rise required. So I'm going to start by adding all my liquids to the blender. This just helps move everything along. So I have half a cup of almond milk, unsweetened. And then we have 8 eggs. I know it sounds like a lot, but when you are working with coconut flour, you need the extra eggs because it absorbs all the moisture. Also, because we're not working with any yeast or even baking powder in this recipe, the eggs help the dough and the bread rise. Then I have 3 cups of whole raw cashews, some apple cider vinegar, sea salt, and baking soda. You can see it and hear it fizzing. That's the reaction that you want. The baking soda mixed with the apple cider vinegar gives the dough some extra air bubbles, which helps it rise. Okay, now we're going to add our 7 tablespoons of coconut flour. And we're just going to blend again to make sure everything is smooth and creamy. You don't want to see any small cashew fragments in there at all. All right, so if you are not working with a high-speed blender, you may have to stop a few times and scrape down the sides and kind of loosen up the batter to be able to make sure that this works around. Because as you can see, it's pretty thick, a little bit thicker than like a cake batter, which is a lot more loose than a standard conventional bread dough. So don't be alarmed, this is what you want it to look like. Okay, so I have my special magical size loaf pan here. It's a slight bit more narrow than a standard loaf, and that helps this bread rise a little bit higher. If you use a standard one, it's no problem, but your loaf might be a little bit more squatty. So I have greased it just ever so slightly with a little bit of coconut oil, and then fit a piece of parchment paper right in to the bottom. And this is just going to help us lift that loaf out once it's baked. Okay, and now we'll put this wonderful batter right in to our pan. And we're just gonna smooth the top a little bit here. Okay, let's pop this into the oven. All right, our loaf is cooled. And I'm gonna slice into it. So just a little tip, if you actually cut it on the diagonal, your slices will appear to be slightly higher in stature. And this bread is so dense that I like to slice it pretty thin. So you can use this for whatever you'd like. But I have been craving a breakfast sandwich. So I'm just going to fry up an egg here. All right, I like my bread toasted. So I toasted 2 slices. And spread just a little bit of avocado oil mayonnaise on that. Now, if you want to, might I suggest melting some cheddar or jack cheese on these pieces of bread before you make that breakfast sandwich. Some thick sliced bacon, tomato, and then our over medium egg. Okay, I'm gonna go enjoy this breakfast sandwich and will likely have some yolk dripping down my face, so I am signing off. For the full recipe, see againstallgrain.com.